Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us and resolving to make 2017 your best year for profits and freedom. I'm Anthony, the editor of Electrical Business Magazine. It's nice to see we have folks here from Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta, BC, Ontario, and Nova Scotia. Today's event is way more than just a webinar. Rather than talk at you, our speaker will work with you. During this roughly 1-hour workshop, you will work on immediate and practical strategies for optimizing your business with our Level Up columnist, Andrew Houston. To that end, before we get started, you'll note a spot on your webinar interface called Handout. Please click the link to download and print off a PDF workbook that you will use during the workshop. While you get ready, let me tell you a little about Andrew. He has been consulting to trades business owners for nearly a decade, helping them improve their business skills so they can achieve their personal and business goals. Andrew is an industrial controls licensed electrician as well as an electronics engineering technologist. And he is the founder and owner of Profit for Contractors. You can find his columns and tradie tip videos at EBMag.com. You'll have the chance to participate throughout the presentation, so please feel free to do so. Afterward, there will also be some time for Q&A before we wrap things up. And with that, I will hand it over to Andrew Houston. Andrew.
Hey, Anthony. Thank you so much for the great introduction. I think I wanted to thank EBMag for giving us the opportunity to present to you guys. You know, we'll get into some of these areas, but it's hard sometimes to find the right resources and get the right tools for you guys to be successful in your business. And our mission today is to help get you started with you know, getting your plan laid out, and so you guys can crush 2017. A little bit about you know, what we're going to be covering off today in just a minute. But before I go any further, if you guys could just type into the chat box. You should be a little chat box there on the GoToWebinar bar. If you can see my screen and if you guys can hear me okay, that would be great. So I'll just give you guys a few minutes to do that. Great to see we got people from all across Canada. That's awesome. So you guys could just chat. It's going to be really important for you guys to ensure that you're able to type in and chat with us, because it's going to be a very interactive webinar today. So if you guys could just type into the chat box if you can see my screen and if you can hear me, that would be awesome. Let's see if we got who we got chatting here. Okay. All right. So I see we got Ryan. Awesome. I can hear you and see the screen. Wicked, Ryan. Oscar, if you could type in. Mike, Jim, Connie. Everybody on the call, if you guys can just type in. Okay, awesome. Connie, great. Just make sure everybody can see me. So Mike and Oscar and Jim, if you guys can do the same thing, that'd be awesome. Okay, excellent. Let's get rocking and rolling here. So without further ado, a little bit about my style. We're going to be covering off a lot of material today, covering off a lot of different aspects of your business specific to the trades. So that you guys can take these tools, these strategies, and actually come up with a plan and take it back to your team, take it back to your business to, like we said earlier, make 2017 the best year ever. If you guys could just type into the chat box what type of trade it is that you do. Is it electrical, construction, is it building, maybe you're a builder, I'm not sure, but it would be great for me to find out what that is. So if you can just type into the chat box, everybody that's on this call, that would be very, very helpful. I'd greatly appreciate that. So again, we're going to be covering off a lot. At the end, I'll show you guys, if you want to get some more insights, if you want to get some of these tools, how to go and get those tools. So we got Connie, electrical contractor, Brian, electrical contracting, great. Sparky's on the call, fellow Sparkies. How about the rest of you guys? Haven't seen anything from Mike. I don't think Jim. So if you guys could just type into that chat box, that would be great. I want to make sure that you guys are able to engage on this call. It's going to be really important to create your plan. So as Anthony said, you should have received the PDF document. This is basically, I'm going to click on it myself here. Bear with me here. I'm going to click on the little link. It should be underneath handouts. And so this is what you guys should be seeing. Contractor's Book of 90-Day Strategies. Guys, this is a killer handout. Obviously, it describes it, so all the steps we're going to be going through today. This is an interactive tool. You can see me checking it off. Electrical repair, Oscar says. Sweet. Okay, that's great, Oscar. So we'll be going through all these strategies and touching on them, and also highlighting some of the ones that have had significant success with some actual electrical contractors and other contractors as well. So you guys should have this document. At the end, what we will do is we're going to be picking 1 or 2 strategies from each of the different areas and filling this in. I'll have this rotated by the time we get to that stage. All right, so let's get back into the presentation. All right, so you should have that downloaded. If you can just type a yes if you have that downloaded, that would be great. So let's make sure before we go much further whether or not you have this this book of strategies downloaded. That's going to be very important for you guys to get the most out of it today. So Ryan says, yep, awesome. Okay, good. So let's just touch on some of the key problems owners in the trades encounter, and see how these resonate with you guys. I think one of the biggest challenges that owners have in the trades is that the business imprisons you, right? If you go to leave the business, things start to go south, things start to go in the wrong direction. A lot of trade-related business owners are drowning in a list of to-dos. Every day, more gets added versus what gets actually taken off, and they don't get to see the big picture. Okay, so guys, today is going to be incredibly interactive so that you get the most out of it, and it starts right now. I want you to tell me, what do you see? What do you think this picture is that's in front of you right now? So this picture right over here, what do you think that picture is? Just type it in the chat box. Connie, Jim, Mike, Oscar, Ryan. Guys, just take a guess. Take your best guess of what this is. Give you guys 10 seconds or so to type that in, to see what you see. And as you guys are typing that in, I'm just going to highlight this. When we get so caught up in the day-to-day reactionary things, the biggest problem with that is that we don't. You hear this whole idea of I got to be more proactive than reactive. It's not. I'm not so heavy on the proactive. I'm more heavy on being strategic with being able to foresee what's in front of you. Being proactive and being able to look at information that if you didn't look at, you wouldn't be able to make the right decisions. So just like this picture, Ryan says, a rock in the sand. Okay, awesome, good guess. Well, it actually is. It's a nail. Okay, so just like our business, right? If we don't look at things from the right set of lenses, we're not seeing the right picture. Okay, I don't know how many people would have been able to eventually guess this, but it's important that in our business we see the things that we need to see, and I'm going to get you guys to see some things that you might not have been able to see before that are going on right inside your business today, all right? So one of the other biggest problems is that years of sacrifice give you dismal results. It's really tough to be in the trades for a lot of contractors, right? The odds are against you just being an entrepreneur, and then on top of that, you get all these challenges like working at heights, new rules of the game by the government. They've done such a great job, and I'm sorry if there's anybody from the government on the call, but they've done such a great job with apprenticeship programs and promoting that. I mean, the odds are really against the trades. Okay, so and a lot of times the net result is that we put in so much time and effort and sacrifice, but we don't get the results out of the business that we should. The reality is that the trade skills that you got, they're not enough. Okay, that's just the brutal honesty. You didn't go to trade school, and they didn't take you aside, which they should be doing, in my personal opinion, teaching these guys and these girls and these people coming through trade school that, here's some of the core principles of running a business, just in case you ever decide to go, have your own business. And not even that, it's important for people that are going to go work for a business owner to understand the important things in order for that business to be successful so that they can be successful, okay? And Jim says here, is this the chat box? Yes, Jim, this is the chat box. Good man. Thanks for taking action and doing that. So good on you. So here's the opportunity if you get this right. The opportunity, if you get this right, is you get these 3 pillars correct. These are the 3 core pillars that Profit for Contractors focuses in on, okay? And these are the 3 core pillars that exist in every single contracting business. And by the way, they go in a specific order. I'll tell you why in a second, but these are the 3 pillars: time and team, profits and cash flow, and marketing and sales. And they go in that order because time and team comes first, guys, because no matter how many strategies I show you today, I mean, these are proven strategies over a decade with thousands and thousands of hours put into these things, tested and measured, that they work for you guys, okay? But I could show you all these strategies regarding profits and cash flow, but if you don't, or even marketing and sales, but if you don't have the time and if you don't have control of your team, you're never going to be able to get to those strategies to actually implement them, okay? Next, after time and team, after we get that nailed, we got to focus in on profits and cash flow. Why? You got to focus in on profits and cash flow, guys. You want to take lots of notes here. Make sure you're taking notes. Turn off the pagers. Get focused. This is 1 hour that can massively improve your business for 2017 and beyond. Okay. So you want to focus on profits and cash flow before marketing and sales, because I hear this all the time. Hey Andrew, you know, I need to focus on marketing and sales. And I go, hey, what kind of profits are you making? So, you know, how well are you able to control your cash flow? And they look at me like deer in the headlights. Guys, everybody on this call, you've got to be absolutely crystal clear on your profits and cash flow before we go to grow your business, because if we go, and I can easily, you know, show you strategies, which I will today, to get you more business, but if you get more business and you don't know that you're not profitable on them, it can put you out of business. If you get more business and you don't know how to manage your cash flow, you could run out of your, you know, which cash flow is like your gas tank. That can go empty very, very quickly, and yet we got you a whole bunch more business. So profits and cash flow come after time and team. Profits and cash flow then come before marketing and sales, and the last one is marketing and sales. Okay, we need to get that consistent. We need to get your marketing and sales as consistent as possible. People might tell you, you know, you need to get off the roller coaster. Well, you do need to get off the roller coaster in marketing and sales in the sense of having really high swings in your business. You will always have bumps in your business where things are more busier than others. But what we want to do is we want to smooth out those bumps as much as possible and get your marketing and sales working, and make it as much as possible focused around maximizing your profits. So the end of the day, this is my motto, is to get your contracting business to be your vehicle that pays for your freedom. Pays for your freedom, okay? Hence why I called the company Profit for Contractors, because if you're not profitable, you're not going to have a business. So let's get a little bit into this. How do you master your time and team? We're going to go through these strategies here. You guys should be, again, make sure you have that document that the Mel has sent out to you guys, the PDF document. All right, we're going to go through each of these in just a minute. And then what we're going to do, we're going to cover off each one of these sections: time and team, profits and cash flow, show you strategies for each, marketing and sales, and then we're going to create a one-page plan for you guys, or at least get you started on this one-page plan. So you can take it back to the business to go, hey, I've got a 90-day plan, you know, to get me started, to get me moving forward in 2017. Why 90 days? Well, 90 days because 90 days is achievable in the sense that if I said to you, hey, you know, let's achieve this, you know, let's achieve this goal in the next, you know, 200 days, it's just too far of a distance for us to look at. 90 days allows us to break it down quarter by quarter, and it allows us to track, test, and measure as we progress to succeeding in our goals. Okay. So here's one of my clients. Here's one of the people you know I engage with, Cameron Hahn, Gestech Electric. You know, in less than 2 months, you know, of putting a plan in place, and this is why it's so important for you guys to get a plan. Sometimes it doesn't have to take a lot of time, but in less than 2 months, he was able to, you know, amplify the team's accountability, the communication, their focus, increase profits. And now, you know, the business is going in the right direction. Okay, before there wasn't a direction except just to work hard or work, you know, just keep working harder, right? And the business now is able to be less dependent upon him because he was able to lay out a plan, set specific goals, you know, around those different areas that we just touched on, to move his business in the right direction. But the first thing that we had to do, and team, on this call, like I said, it's got to be interactive. If you want to get the most out of it, you know, don't waste your 1 hour here. You know, get the most out of your 1 hour. Okay. I'm going to be going through this thing called the Contractors Ladder of Success. Okay, it's been developed over the last decade, in profit for contractors. And the first thing we had to do with CAM, just like you guys need to do right now, is to identify where you're at in this Contractors Ladder of Success. Because every business is at a different place, okay? The principles are the same, but every business is slightly at a different place. So as I go through each one of these levels, I'm going to use CAM as an example. I want to see, which area resonates the most with you, and guess what? There's nothing wrong with you being at a certain level. I don't care if you're at the bottom, at the middle, at the top. It doesn't matter. The first thing is to identify where you're at so that you can identify where you got to go. All right? So the first level that we got to look at is called startup. Startup, you'll know you're at startup, just like Cam did, when his guys were coming to him too much, when he didn't have systems to know how to start, how to run, how to finish jobs, such that he could have himself or his foreman know exactly what's being done, in that day, during that day, at a glance. Okay, this is the most critical foundation to get in your business. If your guys are unclear, if there's a lack of communication between your team and you or upper management or the office, you've got to get that nailed. I'm going to show you guys some examples of how to do that. Part of the other reason you want to get that nailed is because before we start getting more and more business, we need to make sure that we create this wow factor to make sure the job gets done right the first time. The last thing you want to do is get jobs and create a bad impression, okay, and a bad reputation. The next level up in the Contractors Ladder of Success is the survival level. So at startup, it was focused on mastering, the systems to give the technicians the tools that they need to be able to do the job that they've got to do the right way, the right time first. Okay. Next level is survival. Survival level is where we need to make sure that people like the foreman know exactly what their job is, that they are able to track things so the jobs are progressing to profit on every job, not just hoping for profits. So that the foreman knows exactly who's performing, who's not performing, and what's on track and what's off track so that we can get back on track if need be. Next level up is stability. So maybe some of these levels have resonated with you. Probably about 80% of the people that I engage with are usually at startup or survival. Okay, so if that's you, that's totally cool. Okay, stability is where we've got the systems down at startup for the technicians to have, their toolbox of processes, and steps to follow. The foreman is on top of the jobs so that the project manager can start looking at things at a much higher level, just like that picture of the nail, right? Have the right set of lenses to look at the financials, to know that they're making great decisions to maximize profits. To be able to, at a project manager level, at the stability level, be able to forecast the workflow, okay, and the manpower, okay, so that we know that we got enough work for the guys and we don't have too much work that we can't handle, okay. After that is scale. Scale is one of the most, between stability and scale is one of the sweetest spots because the business starts to run more and more without the business owner. At scale level, this is where we got to put more focus in on the role of the general manager. Now, by the way, I'm not saying that people on this call, you have to have all these hats as far as individuals, but you need to master these roles so that you can grow the business, okay? At the scale level, you want to have consistent marketing so that we get off that roller coaster and we get consistent profits, consistent growth, and we have systems that run the business more and more and more without the business owner, okay? Which allows the business at the last level to be sellable, okay? This is where you start to act as an owner, as a true entrepreneur. Why? The business is growing its value beyond just you, okay? So by now you something should have resonated with you, hopefully, as to what level you're at. If you could just type in the chat box what level you're at, that would be great. And the reason that it's important to identify which level you're at, just take the best guess at it, we're just roughing it, is that as I'm going through these strategies in the next 40 minutes, the strategies that you pick should be at the level that you're at, okay? Because if you pick the wrong strategy at the wrong level, the previous foundation, you guys know it. You guys are tradies, right? We know what happens if you build on a cracked foundation, right? Eventually, everything else above it's going to fall down, right? So we got Jim, we got Oscar. Just want to see some of the other people here, making sure Brian, awesome. We got Mike, okay. Connie, where might you be on this Contractors Ladder of Success? Okay. So let's keep moving forward. So let's put theory into reality. Okay. So as an example, let me see if I can pull up an example of what I'm talking about. So here's a little tool, guys. You might want to write this down. This is a free little software tool. I'm not saying it's the end-all to be-all tool. Okay. But here's an example of how at the startup level to get things systemized in an orderly way so that the guys know what they got to do, when they got to do it. It's a little program called Trello. Okay, Trello. We've systemized this, and with the help of our clients, systemized this over the years so that the guys know exactly, when they go to start a job, and this is just one phase of the job, which is actually starting the job. That doesn't mean our feet have even touched the pavement. It means that we're getting ready to start the job. So the site foreman knows exactly. He's picked an inventory area. We've determined and anticipated cash flow patterns. We've got a whole suite of steps that happen in an orderly way. Okay? And by the way, this is all accessible on an iPhone, a smartphone. It's funny, people talk about smartphones. Smartphone's only as smart as you make it. Otherwise, it's a dumb phone. Okay? So it's amazing with these tools. You can track exactly what has been done on the job site real time. You can see who actually did it over here on the side. Very, very powerful tool. Tracking as well, things like your tools. Here's an example. Electrical tool tracker. Okay, same program to know exactly where all the tools are in the business. I mean, think about it. Okay, how much money do we waste trying to chase guys to find out? Hey, do you got the ladder? Do you got the bender? Do you got the drill? That's money. That's money out of the bottom line pocket of the business owner. So Cam was able to put that in place. The systems like that was just a touch of the system. With a little bit of effort, he's able to get 50% of his time back instead of having to babysit the guys. He's able to delegate properly to his foreman. No more working late. Team running the systems because he's got a system. Less mental stress. Tasks delegated to the team. Really big things, okay? Now, this guy was in business for over 20-plus years, right? And it wasn't due to a lack of effort. So we've got to get systems to run the business and people to run the systems, all right? So now we're going to get into, that was just a little taste, guys. We're going to get into these specific strategies here. So walk through this with me. If you got the document in front of you, great. If you just want to walk through it with me and write down some of those key strategies that you're going to pick, then let's do that. Whatever works easiest for you. We're not looking for perfection, okay? We're looking for progress. So here we are. Can everybody still see my screen? Just type in a big Y, a yepper. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. Just type in if you can see my screen. Perfect. Thanks, Mike. Okay, so guys, I'm going to go through each of these, okay? I'm going to give, in some of them, I'm going to give some examples of some of the impacts. I want you to pick, you can check off the ones that you want to do, and then in the end, I'm going to get you guys to pick off, say 2 to 3 of these strategies that we're going to try and put into play, or you're going to take back to your plan at the end of today's session. So getting control of your time, okay? So if this is something that resonates with you, let me just do my little, get this working. If this resonates with you, and you want to get more control of your time, then just, check that off, So getting control of your time, being more proactive versus reactive, is that something that you want to put into your plan, okay? Determine which tasks are the highest value for me. Guys, this is one of the biggest ones. There's a lot of big ones in here, but if you do not know what defines a high value of you as a business owner, of where you're at in that Contractors Ladder of Success, then you are basically going to be ran by other people's calendars. You're not going to know where your focus is, and let me trust me on this. Your profits and your cash flow follow your calendar. If all that people do in your company, inclusive of you, is minimum wage jobs every week on week, then that's all your bottom line is going to show. Okay? If we're doing things that are hundreds of dollars an hour or thousands of dollars an hour, then that is what's going to equate to the bottom line at the end of the year or quarter by quarter. Okay? So next, get the office, estimator, and foreman on the same page. Is that something that you got to focus in on? Maybe with that Trello system. Track your crews step by step on every job. This has equated, I'm going to tell you right now, this guy right here has equated easily I've had clients that have increased their profits by 20, 30%. That's an easy 10% right there, okay? Inclusive of the one below it goes hand in hand, okay? Starting, running, and finishing jobs profitably, okay? Starting, running, and finishing. I call it progressing to profit, okay? Making sure that you've got a system in place to track the jobs against what was quoted is so crucial, okay? Train my team to deliver Class A customer service. I mean, think about this, right? You think about if your clients can differentiate you based upon the service and be consistent with it, how that's going to help you in your marketing. I mean, it's huge. You know, I've seen clients increase their conversion rate because they are providing that type of service, getting more referrals by, 5 to 10% easy, okay, of their sales increases just because they get that nailed, because it goes beyond just price, okay? Wouldn't that be great that you land more and more work beyond just having to lower your prices, right? Get the team to be accountable, stop babysitting them, okay? Huge, right? That is one of the biggest ways of a business owner or even the management team to be focusing on babysitting the crews. Create an effective induction plan for new hires. Guys, it's hard enough to get new tradies, right? It's hard enough to get and find good tradespeople, okay? If you don't induct them properly, then you're setting them up for failure, right? And what's the cost of that, having to constantly hire new people and train new people, and that cycle just continues. Create systems to delegate. Right, if we don't create systems to delegate, then you're going to keep on just doing more and more on that to-do list, right? Creating a succession plan. Look, in the next decade, next 10 years is going to be the greatest exit of businesses in the history of the world, okay? Due to the cycle of business and due to the baby boomers and due to all these people that are about to retire, okay? So if you're looking at getting into your business in the next 10 or 15 years, you sure as heck better make sure you move yourself up that contractor's ladder of success and have a plan for it. Typically, you want to have about a 5-year plan before you look at exiting. Attract, find, and keep top employees. That's huge, right? Making sure you got a good environment so that you can retain your team, because if you don't retain your team, that's going to directly have an impact on scaling your business. Create policy and procedure manuals. Get them in, and office staff is the best resource. Okay, they are one of the best underutilized resources in your company. But again, if you don't give them the systems and the tools and communicate properly, then they're not going to be. Establish consistent quality control. We need to have checklists, guys. Okay, I'll show you some of the examples. When we finish a job, we got to have a closeout checklist so that we finish the job and we don't have to go back unless the customer's asking us for us to do more work, but not to go back, on our payroll where we're paying for it, right? Again, that comes back to creating these, raving fan Class A customer service, right? Leadership. Let's talk about leadership, right? Lead your ship, right? Lead your ship, okay? You got to become the leader, okay? You can't just hope to be a leader. You have to work at it. It's a skill set, guys. It's a skill set. There's about 6 key things that you need to do to be a leader. One of them is right below here, which is creating a vision so that everybody's on the same page. Guys, if you're on this call right now and you do not have a 90-day plan, then guess what? It's impossible for your team to have a 90-day plan. And if your team doesn't have some sort of plan, then we're just hoping for success. We're not planning for success. And trust me, they did a little study. People that tend to plan, entrepreneurs, okay, achieve 4 times more profits, okay, and success than those that don't plan. And it's no mystery. It's no mystery. It's because they're focused. It's because they have an actual, goal to go after, and they put actions in place to make it happen. Okay, that's what we're trying to do with you today. Define precise plans for each department. Get the team to play to their strengths. Okay, that's going to be, you want to do an assessment here, right? You want to do an assessment of your team. Okay, create employee evaluations. That's crucial, right? If you want your people to stick around, you got to make them feel like they're being heard and they're being seen, and that's one of the best ways to do it. Get managers to lead, run effective team meetings, create structure to last, get control of your calendar. Again, remember I said profits in your cash flow, follow your calendar. Identify what tasks to keep, stop, and start. One of the very first things that I recommend that people do, that we engage with, is you need to do a time audit on yourself. Okay, if you do not know where you're spending your time, how would you know where you shouldn't be spending your time, or where you should be spending your time, or where the heck your time is even going? Okay, create a code of culture, right? Create an environment that people want to work in. Okay, it's huge. So, with that being said, I'm going to give you guys about 10 to 15 seconds. I want you to pick what are the top 2 to 3 that resonate with you and type it into the chat box. I'll give you guys 10 to 15 seconds to do that, and that would be great. So let's do that. I'm going to come back to the presentation here. So just type in the chat box, maybe it was number 1, okay? Maybe it was tracking the crews, you want to maximize your profits, step-by-step, process on every job, or maybe it was start, run, finish jobs profitably. Type in the chat box your number. I'll keep that private. You guys, I don't need to share that necessarily. All right, we got some people picking 13, get them in an office staff to be my best resource. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, if you got an office staff right now and you're not utilizing them, well, we got to utilize them. Okay, that's money sitting right on the table. Okay, and it's also your time that's being wasted. We got get control of time. Beautiful. Too many can't decide. Okay, well, Jim, I'll show you where we can where I can help you out with that later on before we finish up. All right. We got 7. Get my team to be accountable and stop babysitting. Yeah, that is one of the biggest ways of any manager or leader in a company. 5 and 7, Oscar. So that is start, run, finish jobs profitably. Get my team to be accountable. Awesome, Mike. This is 2. Determine which tasks are the highest value. Beautiful, Oscar. 14. Excellent, guys. Excellent. You're doing great. Okay, let's keep moving forward here. So keep those numbers. Write those numbers down someplace, okay, and so that we can pull from those numbers a little bit later on. So far, guys, I want you to type in the chat box. Again, the more you interact, the more it's going to stick. It's like, interaction is like crazy glue, right? The more you interact, the more the stuff's going to stick, the more it's going to become real for you guys. So what's been most valuable to you guys that we've just covered off underneath the time and team section right now? What's been most valuable for you guys that we've covered off so far? That's going to have as far as value to your focus and picking things that are going to improve your time and team. What has been most valuable so far? Just type it into the chat box. Has it been realizing, that I need to start running my team more effectively? Has it been getting control of my time? Is it, creating a succession plan? Is it, what is it that's been most valuable so far? Yeah, we got people saying, becoming the leader, that my team needs. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what has been most valuable so far? It's going to help you guys smash 2017 from these strategies. Mike says, getting a clear picture of setting expectations for the team. Yeah, absolutely. Ryan says, focusing on the cash flow and profit and becoming a good leader. Yeah, leadership, guys, I love it. It's huge. You just being here, just being on this call today, it separates you from the competition huge because it shows that you're being a leader, okay? You're taking action and being accountable for your plan. So, guys, we're going to do it the old way, we're going to do the new way. Obviously, guys, are we going to do it the old way or new way? I think I know what decision you want to make, but type it in the chat box. Old or the new? Which one is for you? That sort of rhymes, doesn't it? So, old or new, which way, guys? The new way, absolutely. Love it. Good job, Jim. Good job, Ryan. Good job, everybody. Mike, beautiful. All right, let's keep moving. So now we're going to jump into profits and cash flow. We're going to go a little bit deeper on this one, but let's just touch on some key principles. Guys, before we go and work on, outside of managing our time and getting control of our time and our team and being a better leader, when it comes to maximizing your profits, the very first place you got to start. Some marketing person knocks on your door and says, hey, you know what, I got this thing that's going to get you more business, okay? And your coach, and you come to me and say, hey, Andrew, so what do you think about this? I'm going to say, hold it, before we go get, just like I told you before, any more sales, do any more marketing, we've got to stop the holes in the jobs you have right now. Right now, you guys have jobs that are on the go. I can guarantee you, okay? Work is being done either yesterday, today, tomorrow, next week, okay? We got to stop the leaks right away. That's where the lowest hanging fruit is. So part of the problem, if you don't stop the leaks, is that you're not able to be competitive, okay? One of the advantages that some of my clients have is that when they start cranking up their profitability and they become more efficient, more systemized, more in control, you know, they can actually go into jobs and win those jobs, be a hell of a lot more competitive than the competition, and the competition just doesn't understand how the heck it's possible, okay? And yet they're still making a ton of money, okay? The other thing when it comes to profits is that when your profits are gone, they're gone forever, and so is your cash, okay? People say that your time is your most valuable asset. I would agree with that, but very close after that when it comes to being a contractor is also your profits and your cash flow, okay? If you lose money on a job, I'm going to show you some examples shortly. When you lose money on a job, you can't get that money back. It's gone forever. So let's take a look at the effects of decreasing your margins. I'm not talking about just lowering your margin when you go to quote. I'm talking about if you do not get this right, if you do not maximize the efficiency and plug the leaks in profit, okay, this is the kind of stuff that can add up. 1% here, 2% there, 3% there. So let's take a look. If you have a business, just go with me in this example, and you're making 30% margin, okay? And you go and decrease your margins by 10% due to inefficiencies, due to missing change orders, due to not being quoted properly, due to the wrong guys being on the job site, yada, yada, yada. Get ready for this. You would have to sell 50% more work in order for you, okay, in order for you to make the same profits you were making before you lost the 10%, okay? So that is huge, okay? Getting, you know, Mike says getting a clear picture of setting expectations for the team is important. Yeah, absolutely, Mike. So, guys, this is huge. A 10% change from 30, right? We lose 10 points here. We'd have to sell 50% more work in order for us to recover from that, all right? Now, let's look at the flip side, okay? You know, well, actually, let's take a look at just a quick example here. Okay, let me just close this. As an example, guys, if we had if we have $1 million business, okay, we got $1 million business, and we got one company that's making 30 points, and the next year, because of the inefficiencies, they make 20 points on it. This company over here is making 300K, same company, but you know they have a bad year because of the inefficiencies. They're only making 200K. At 20 points. Okay, just to give you some of the math here, at 20 points, they would have to sell, to make up for that $100,000 in difference in loss, they would have to sell $500,000 in work, do $500,000 of work at 20 points to make up for the 100K, and they haven't even made any extra money. Isn't that sad? Okay, you imagine they'd have to go to $1.5 million for them to try and make the same profits they were at 30 points. Okay, more guys, more crews, more trucks, more hassles, more callbacks. Any cracks in the foundation that you had? Yeah, guess what? It's a huge crevice, like a canyon. Okay, so we gotta make sure that we understand that maximizing our profits along the way is so crucial. Okay, guys. So, you know, the problem with you know, lowering your margins, right, is that it's going to have a compound effect, all right? Now, if we go and increase our margins, guess what happens? This company goes and increases their margins by efficiencies, by some of the things we're going to be showing you in a minute, by 10%. They could lose 25% of the work that they, you know, 25% sales and still make the same margins. So that $1 million company could actually only have to bring in $750,000 worth of work to make the same amount of money they made when they were at $1 million. So team, hopefully they've got the right set of lenses on for you. The focus here is focus on less. Less can be more so long as we're maximizing our profits. So here's my question for you. How does this change the way that you look at decreasing and increasing your margins? Type that into the chat box. Give you guys 10 seconds to do that. It'd be great. How does that change the way that you look at increasing and decreasing margins? It's a pretty important thing for you guys to be able to see the impact on this. You imagine month on month, if you're decreasing your margins by just 1%. By the end of the year, you're at negative 12% from where you were at. Now, the same is true if you go the other way, right? If we can come up with strategies to increase your profits 1% every month, huge, right? Very important to increase margins. Absolutely. Yeah, quality over quantity. You got it, Ryan. So how do you master your profits and cash flow? Well, we're going to go into some of these strategies in just a minute, but let me just quickly go through, for the sake of time, the 5 core ways. You guys definitely want to take notes on this. 5 core ways in order that you need to focus in on your profits. Number 1, you need to know if you're profitable, okay? Here's a prime example. If you are not tracking your jobs, this is what happens. Here's an electrical contractor that I am currently working with, okay? I'm working with lots of them, but here's one, okay? I won't say who. They estimated the job, look at this. They estimated, right here, see if I can get this pen working here. They estimated 3,700 hours. The actual hours were 6,000. They estimated material 149,000. The actual was 199,000. Okay, guys, what's the problem here? The problem wasn't just that they lost profits. This was about a 6-month job. Okay, they only looked at the report when the game was over. Trust me, you do not play baseball. We do not play sports. We do not play hockey. We don't watch hockey. Well, let's say more so on the playing side. We don't do anything even in sports, and that's a game. Okay, and look at the scoreboard at the end. Do we? We look at it step by step by step. Okay, so we want to put systems in place to make sure that we are progressing to profit. That is absolutely crucial. Okay, so Jim said, in my market, 30% margin is unheard of. Yeah, for sure. That makes it just that much more important, Jim, to ensure that we're making and maximizing the profits that we should be making with the work that we've got now, okay? So it's even more critical if your margins aren't 30 points, which most contractors aren't. Say your average margin is 15 or 20. Well, yeah, then it's even that much more critical, right? Next, we've got to look at is the efficiency of the team. So first thing is progressing the profit. Are we profitable on the jobs that we're doing right now? Okay? Next is the efficiency of the team. Here's the problem. If you don't get this right, everything comes back to you. If you don't get the team's efficiency and communication right, the bad apples make more bad apples, right? We become professional babysitters. And at the end of the day, you have an undiagnosed version of schizophrenia because you're wearing way too many hats, okay? And it's not because you want to have this version of schizophrenia, it's because you have no other choice. The alternative, if you get this right, your team becomes superheroes, guys. Your job gets done right the first time. And we're able to track and be able to start jobs, run jobs, finish jobs, all in a systemized way that we are maximizing profits and control along the way. Guys, these are tools. These are examples of checklists. Again, you can take all these and automate them, like what I showed you in Trello, or use some sort of software. But these are hard copies that a lot of people that I engage with use. You know, a startup checklist, a procurement checklist. This is before we even get on the job. When we're running the job, we want to make sure that, you know, that we're following the schedule. Okay. Now again, yes, this conversation is more, you know, you can see a lot of weight going towards projects, but even if you're doing service work, you got to be able to start those service calls, run those service calls in a systemized way to maximize control in your profits. Making sure that we got a job site checklist, how you get set up on the job site, to all the way to finishing the job, whereby we are closing out the job so that we're not going back and having money ripped out of our pockets because somebody forgot something. And we're maintaining the right quality of service, and we're getting the team to know, our team, not just our employees, but the team being the customers, to give us feedback back on how well we did and where we can improve. Here's an example, guys, of just a small little effect. Another electrical contractor. 15 minutes we identified that it was actually this was a 15-minute call. Within about a 15-minute call or so, say 15, 20-minute call, I had a contractor inquire with me about, hey, Andrew, how I want to improve my service work by 20%. After a couple of questions, we realized, or I got them to realize that instead of focusing on trying to get more work, it was like, wait, let's just plug the holes in the profit bucket to begin with, okay? So we identified that their service calls with the guys, because of lack of systems and communication, guys were standing around, guys didn't know where to go, massive lack of communication. There was 15 minutes being lost in every single service call. It was a lot more than that, but we're just being conservative. 200 service calls a month, 300 minutes a month being lost in non-billable hours. Total hours lost, 50 hours per month at $85 an hour, okay? $4,250 a month, $51,000 a year. And when I asked the owner how long you plan on being in business, they were like, well, at least the next 10 or 15 years, you know, young company. That's over $500,000 in lost billable hours, okay? So when that was fixed, then we focused on growing the business. But again, that was identified in a very short period of time. Again, it's having the right set of lenses on, guys, that you got to make sure you got. Next, after efficiency, okay, of the team is the type of work, okay? You can do $3 million worth of work at 10 points, $2 million at 15, $1 million at 20, and guess what? They're all the same profits. Yep, just an exceptionally different level of effort, okay? So a little focus can have massive results. Here's Vicky, Davie Electric. You know, 24 years they tried to maximize profits, but they just didn't know where to start, right? Within a very short period of time, a couple of months, these guys were able to increase profits, and it's just the beginning, okay? So with that being said, based upon some of the things I showed you guys, you know, could you increase your jobs, your crew efficiency, your types of work by 2, 5, 10%? You know, what would the bottom line impact be, okay? If you guys could type that into the chat box, that would be great. What do you think some of those strategies that we covered off could help improve your business by? 2%, 5%, 10%? Think about it, right? If we improve the efficiency of your team, you know, and that efficiency is improved month on month, week on week, you know, quarter by quarter, it has a compound effect just like a ton of these things do. So Jim saying 10, Mike saying 10, we're getting lots of 10s. Yeah, absolutely, man, easily, okay? So next is class of clients, guys. Okay, we're moving fast here because we've got a lot of great things to cover off. Class of clients, yeah. How many people deal with this guy or this person, right? Hello, I'm your worst nightmare, right? Stuck on their forehead. You know, we got to get rid of the leeches, okay? You know, you got these people. If everything that you deal with them is urgent, it's like you know, it's like this picture here. So we got to rate our clients. The A's, you know, that are awesome, the B's that are basic, the C's can't deal with, and these are deadbeats, right? If you don't have some sort of filtering process, then you're going to get whatever the heck the world wants to give to you or whatever your competition wants to send your way, okay? So you want to have some sort of scoring analysis. I'll show you guys how you can get some of these templates I'm willing to share with you guys, how to get your hands on this, but you want to score your customers, especially in 2017, so you're dealing with more Class A's, and you know, and you got to have a system for how you engage with them, whether that's by letter, the C's and the D's, or the A's by letter, or how you're going to communicate with them so that they, being the A's and B's, become raving fans, and the C's and D's go to the wayside, like this. Okay, sorry I had to use this. Okay, you know, at some point we got to let these people go, right? If they're costing us money, then we got to let them go. So it's amazing what you can do in a short period of time, guys. Again, you know, look at this, 15 hours a week saved up by filtering out, you know, the C's and D's and focusing on the A's and B's. And what happens? Yeah, his profits go up, and so does his cash flow, of course, right? So, you know, what would it mean for your company if you could if you didn't have to deal with the C's and D's clients anymore? You know, you know, think about it. Maybe write this down right now. Who would be the first Class D that you would let go? Last on the profit funnel is cash flow. Okay. If we want to get, you know, it's tough enough in some cases to get money from clients, but look, if you are you know, not systemizing, if you don't have a system for your cash flow, then you're going to get what you get. Seriously, okay? If you're not able to systemize it so that you've got rules, you know, instead of just saying, hey, just pay the damn invoice, sorry, that doesn't tend to work that well, okay? You got to have a process so you can track who owes you. You got to have a process so you know, the team is prepared to know what to say, when to say it, in what, you know, step by step, you know, engagement with these people. Things have to be accelerating and moving forward with the conversation with these people. There needs to be, you know, steps and different levels of engagement in order for you to collect your cash flow properly. trust me, this has pulled in hundreds of thousands of dollars for my clients because it's a system, right? They can test and measure a system. You can't test and measure just stuff that's in your head. And you got to be able to pull in their heartstrings and have a goal when you're picking up the phone with them. So without further ado, let's touch on this area of profits and cash flow. We're going to spend just a minute or two going through some of these strategies beyond even what I just covered off now, so that you guys can determine what is going to be the ones that resonate the most with you. So let's get this happening. All right. So when it comes to profits and cash flow, let's go through this. Do you need to be able to, and just check off the ones that are going to resonate with you, to define your break even? Do you have that in place? It's really important, team, that in 2017 you define what is the break even for you, that you determine if you can afford and hire staff, determine that what work the crews and clients are doing that are profitable. Create a service call system, again, just like Vicky had done, that increased their profits just on the service call department by 12%. Huge. Okay. Create a job site profit board. Man, this is big. This has saved some of the clients because they're able to control exactly where a job is at, whether it's on track or off track. This has saved the clients, between sometimes 10–15% in profit, but let's conservatively say 5%. Predict your growth, right? You want to be able to predict your growth based upon how many opportunities you have in the pipeline. You want to quote profitably. You want to determine markup versus margin. Systemize job costing. Charge on all change orders, otherwise you're paying for it. Get Class A service from suppliers. Negotiate. Which one of these things, again, is resonating? Negotiate best pricing with suppliers. Create an accounts receivable board. Really simple, guys. Whiteboard from Staples. A system for it. Predict cash flow and better control it. Create financial dashboards. Lots of stuff here. Maximize progress billing. Create a procurement checklist. Which one of these is it? Get the money off the street faster. Get cash for holdbacks faster. Which one of these is resonating the most with you? Okay, you can't do them all. Just pick the top 2 or 3 that resonate the most with you and type it into the chat box. That would be great. Give you guys a minute to do that. I'll sip of my coffee here. You guys are doing great. Keep it up. So just type in which ones. We're going to have to pick it up a little bit here that resonate with you. Okay. You think about it, guys, like I said, right, a 1% increase every single month is totally possible in so many different aspects of the business. Okay, so let's keep moving here. Hopefully you guys have picked which strategies you're going to go with. What's been the most valuable to you that will make you smash 2017 is the core ones that I want you to focus in on. I want you to do it the new way, not the old way. And let's move on to the last pillar here, which is marketing and sales. Marketing and sales, guys, is really key to your business, obviously, right? If you don't get more business, if you can't control that business, then you're going to run out of the ability to pay the bills and keep the guys busy. So we got to maximize that. There's 3 core things in marketing and sales. We want to optimize lead flow. Second is deal flow. That means closing the deals and get the right workflow. Okay. Again, we'll be referencing these in just a second. Okay, so number 1, you got to knock out the competition. You got to come up with ways to differentiate yourself from the competition. One of the best ways to do that, guys, is with a customer feedback form. Okay, you want to be able to get feedback from your customers so you know how you're performing, how well your team is performing, so that you can use this and build this up over time to share it with other prospects and say, hey, this is actually how we're doing. Okay. Instead of just telling people how well you do or how good you are at providing a good service or product, you've got to prove it to them. Okay, number 2, strategic alliances. One of the best things you can do is have strategic alliances. Here's an example. One of my clients, Gaten, great guy, got engaged with strategic alliance, somebody that goes after the same type of work as him, but in a non-compete way. And look at the results that he got, right? And this is just the beginning, right? So he's now starting to get, referrals from these strategic alliances, like-minded contractors that are going after the same target audience, that are now Now they're working together, providing Class A clients to each other and helping out each other grow their businesses. Okay, so marketing and sales is absolutely crucial. So let's go through some of these key ones. Okay, guys, right in front of you. Rating your clients. Okay, that can save you guys thousands and thousands of dollars. If you got rid of a Class D client tomorrow, that would have an impact on your bottom line immediately. Getting rid of the tire kickers fast, increase your quote-to-win ratio. So I'm going to give you guys a minute or two just to take a look at this. Maybe I'm just going to highlight some of the key ones in here. Build your reputation. Man, I know a lot of people in the trades, twitch a bit when I say you want to have a good online presence. You do need to have a good online presence. People go to check you out and you got a bad reputation, guess what? They're not going to want to deal with you, okay, or they're going to question you. I mean, you don't go on a vacation, pick a vacation when it's only 1 star, right? No, you don't, because it makes you worry that, that's the kind of service that you're going to get versus going to a place that's a 4 or 5 star. It's the same thing with people picking you as a contractor. Making sure that you guys have a client binder, number 15, is big, okay? That can hugely separate you from the competition, especially if you have those feedback forms in there and testimonials. On the sales side of things, making sure that you guys are delegating and leveraging your time wisely. On the quoting side, putting a step-by-step sales process in place. So which one of these guys, team, is resonating the most with you? Just type that into the chat box and that would be awesome. Which one of these, maybe 1 or 2, is it creating a sales process, step-by-step? Is it getting rid of the Class Ds? Which is it? Just type that into the chat box. Yeah, target the most profitable jobs. You got it, Mike. Absolutely. The increased quote to win. Yep. Jim, 1 and 8. Yeah, rate Class A to D and A. Define your unique selling proposition. Yeah, why me beyond just price, right? Absolutely. Okay, so now that we've got that, right, you think about it. How many more Class A clients could, these strategies bring you guys, and what would the bottom line impact be? It's going to be different for everybody. So here's what we're going to do. You guys have this document, okay? The purpose of this document here is to take the strategies that you've picked, the 1 or 2 strategies from each. And what you need to do is you need to, underneath each one of the pillars, time and team, go and, if you got 2 or 3 of them, then try and prioritize them, okay? Which one, and if you think they're both the same, then just pick one if you have to start with, okay? And start laying out your time frame for when are you going to start working on these different strategies. So in this case, time and team, how to get control of my time is this example, and they're going to focus on that for the first 3 weeks in January, okay? Next is going to be number 5, and they're going to do that come, the 4th week in January, and so on and so forth. Take the time, probably take you guys a good 30 minutes or so to compile what we covered off today and put it into this 1-page plan, okay? So here's the thing, when we're looking at this, I want you guys to look at the new way versus old way of doing things. When it comes to the old way, I want you to have the business to run without you instead of you having to babysit. I want you to have profits and cash flow so that you're not working too hard for too little. When it comes to marketing and sales, we don't want you guys to be constantly competing on price and not value. So this is the stuff that we don't want. Okay, the stuff that we do want from today is we want the new way, right? I think we all want the new way, right? The team is self-sufficient, focused on high-value activities, profits and cash flow. The business pays for our freedom. And on the marketing and sales side, we are the authority beyond just price. So look, I don't know what was the most value for you today. I'm not sure, what made you show up on this webinar, except to try and crush 2017. But some of the key principles I wanted you to get today is that you got to solve the problems once, guys, and benefit for a lifetime, okay? Maybe it feels like you're blocked up, you're not able to move forward. Maybe it feels like, every time you turn your back, it's like a ticking time bomb, okay? But on behalf of EBMag, they've sponsored putting together, a quick little 15-minute chat with me. Here's the thing, right? you can't do all these strategies at once. And one of the key things that you want to do is you want to be able to know where to start. You want to know, what it is that's going to give you the biggest bang for the buck. And the reality is that breaking out some of the strategies, the ideas are great, okay, but there's the trial and error effect, right? Usually it takes a lot more to implement something, to break it down into bite-sized little pieces. So if you guys want some help with that, I'm more than willing to help you guys with that, sponsored by EBMag, to move you guys up this contractor's ladder of success, to make your 2017 the best year ever. To do that, all you guys got to do, I think Mel's going to type into the chat box this link. It will take you guys to, so if Mel, you could do that, that'd be awesome. It'll take you to this little calendar here where you guys can pick. I think there's like 5 or 6 of these available to you guys. You can pick the time that works the best for you. And we'll get down and deep as really fast to identify, what you guys got to focus in on first, where the biggest bang for the buck is, so you guys can ensure that that plan is somewhat stamped by me, that you've got what you need to move forward and crush 2017. Part of taking action, I believe people should be rewarded by that. Okay, you guys get the survey for success feedback form. We covered off the client rating matrix, and that's some of the things that the EBMag is offering today, and I'm supporting that. I really am passionate about helping you guys succeed. There's literally tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next year and on sitting on the table. I think we all know it. We just need a little bit of help, and I think it's so important that you guys, I think it shows a lot of leadership that you guys came on this call today. I think Mel's going to do a little poll just to see how well we did today. It's important to get your feedback on that. And again, this is all about mastering your business team. We make the most out of our time only when we actually plan for that to happen, okay? There's a lot of moving parts in the contracting business. I know it. Ran my own contracting business. I can contest to that. Sold my business. And it's important for you to make sure you get the right plan that's specific to you and for where you're at in this contractor's ladder of success. So if you guys have any questions, type that into the chat box. That would be, I'm here to help you in the next minute or two. Again, there's the 15-minute chat. I know this date on here is wrong, but if you click on that link, it'll bring you to the right calendar. And I love this guy, one of my mentors, Jim Rohn. Never wish your life were easier. Just wish that you were better. Okay? And work harder on yourself than you do on your job. So thank you so much, EBMag, for having me today. And that sort of wraps up our presentation for today.
Excellent, Andrew. Thank you so much. And again, everyone, you can find Andrew regularly in the pages of Electrical Business Magazine and on the website, ebmag.com. He's got a special section for his Level Up columns where we also include his tradie tip videos. Now, we are just a little bit over time, so I do encourage you to book that 15-minute time slot with Andrew. Visit him online at profitforcontractors.com. And hopefully start a meaningful relationship with Andrew. And if you learned anything, please tell your friends. I guess you don't want to tell your competitors, but tell your friends so that they can hopefully sign up to eventually watch a recording of this workshop and also sign up for future workshops that we host with Andrew. There's going to be 3 more coming up in 2017, so keep your eyes open for that and other topics on other subjects of interest to our industry. Again, all that info is at ebmag.com. So meantime, we've gone a little bit over. Do get in touch with Andrew. Keep reading and visiting ebmag.com. Thanks again, and stay safe, everyone.